Ever wonder what sets the winners apart from the losers? And what does it really mean to be a winner? My name is Federico, and I'm a young, successful entrepreneur passionate about sports, business, mindset, and real estate. If you are just like me and you want to crack the code to victory, then Winning Ways podcast is made for you. All right, yo. Welcome back to Winning Ways with Fred. My name is Federico, and I am your host. First and foremost, guys, please, if you do find this show valuable, you learn something from it, please share it. That's how we grow the show. And today's show, I have no doubt you're going to want to share. We have Mr. Blake Carter in the house. How are you, man?
I'm blessed, man. Thank you for asking.
Of course, man. Of course. Blake is a real estate entrepreneur. He has quite a bit of success in his industries. He started off actually in Tesla working, but I'll let him get into that. And he also has a nonprofit, which I'm super impressed by. That's, again, one of my goals to have. So yeah, Blake, tell us about your story, man, how you got into all of this and where you're headed in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, man. I'll kind of give you the whole rundown of my story. So
yeah.
I've essentially been involved in real estate since I was a kid. My mom she was a partner in a successful flipping and mobile home retail business. Like, they had a lot and they were selling mobile homes, and they would invest in some properties here and there. That was pre-2008. And so once real estate crashed, it really impacted their business, and our life pretty much got turned upside down. We ended up being deemed homeless by the city of Austin for a couple of years after that. Wow. Due to unstable housing and unstable. My mom was always a fantastic mom. Both my parents are great, but it was just a hard patch that thankfully we got through.
Nice.
And so that was a big motivation behind starting the nonprofit that I started along with my mom, called Serve Inspire.
Of course.
In addition to that, I didn't go to school. I went right into the workforce after high school. Basically, my first ever job was in real estate. I basically worked in property management as like a leasing agent, people that you work with, like when you're going to lease an apartment, and worked my way up in that world as much as I could, and started diving more into investing as I got older, and eventually got my license as well about 2-3 years ago, and started my company. My company's name is Cribs, stands for Creative Real Estate Investment Business Solutions, and nice. We specialize in triples, and we specialize in rent by room. So basically houses that are rented out by the room.
Okay.
Yeah, we're one of the only companies that specializes in that method. Obviously, short-term rentals, a lot of people are in that.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's kind of our niche. We do a lot of work in that. We currently manage, actively under management, we have close to 40 properties. We have Great. 15. Yeah. We have 15 renovations that we're currently working on or we're working through. And we're furnishing 6 properties right now. So essentially what Cribs does, and what Cribs is, we're a full service turnkey solution for investors. So we help people purchase properties. We help them do all the renovation, rehab, design, and then we help them furnish their properties. And we do management on the back end as well.
Beautiful, man.
So basically just like for short-term rental or for real estate investors.
Nice. So just to tag on the question of your company. So I was reading, you basically, your niche is renting, if I got this right, having a property and renting each room out individually.
Yeah. So we do rent by room, which is where you rent, like basically you get a 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom house, whatever, rent each room out individually.
Okay.
On separate leases.
Nice.
So it's almost like a mini multi. And then we also do short-term rentals as well, Airbnb, VRBO, things of that nature.
Okay.
And so those are kind of our fees. So we help take our clients from point A all the way to point Z along the entire process. So we work with a lot of like remote investors, people from different states, people from different countries who need a team, and we're kind of all for people.
Got it. So you guys are pretty much a one-stop shop. You guys offer services within helping them find the property, maybe help them fix the property up. If they want to sell it, put it in the market. If they want to Airbnb it or rent it, you help them find the tenants as well, whatever they could get the most cash out of or returns from, depending on the area. You either rent it by room or rent the full property out. Is that somewhere near where you do?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome, man. You know, I've heard about it, I've read about it, but I've never seen somebody actually do it. The rent by room, I find it very interesting because I feel like there's opportunities in many markets where you could profit more with that style of investing and renting than your whole traditional long-term rentals or even Airbnbs nowadays.
Yeah, man. One of the big motivations that we had behind starting our company was the fact that you can't cash flow in these expensive cities like Austin and Los Angeles,
Miami,
Utah. A lot. Miami is a big one, actually. Fort Lauderdale, Bay, all that. Those are all expensive markets that it's hard to cash flow as just like a regular long-term rental. And so we basically started specializing in these solutions to come up with, these solutions for investors and basically to allow them to cash flow and hold these properties in high appreciating markets.
Yeah. So what markets are you guys focusing on right now?
Well, for what we do, we're primarily in Texas.
Okay.
So we will take some work outside of the state. We've had some inquiries and we have done some work out of the state, but our mainstay is within the state of Texas.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I love Texas. And you said you were in Austin. Austin's an up and coming market. A lot of jobs opening up there. Definitely a city to invest in. It's one of those. And I'm not too familiar with the Austin market, but I would say it's not as bad as Miami or LA or New York.
Yeah. Austin's a really cool market, man. It's still, it is a very expensive market, relatively speaking, to the rest of the world. Yeah. Or to the rest of the country, but relatively speaking to other expensive markets, it's not as expensive as some. So Austin's a cool place where you can still get, 30-40% cash on cash returns in some of these short-term rentals. Yeah. Whereas like a lot of vacation heavy markets regarding short-term rentals are kind of tapped out, or you can't, like, properties are just too expensive and income isn't there. Yeah. Austin is still very much an emerging market. World where you can still get really good returns.
Got it. Let me ask you this. How old are you, man?
I'm 26.
You're 26, bro. You see, that's awesome. That's a great story. I'm 27 myself, man. But you see, my audience is kind of young. It's young adults. I would say primarily men, 18 to 30-year-olds. And it's cool to have a story like yourself, right? Because you see people like Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, and you look up to them, right? But they're so far ahead. They're almost billionaires, if not already billionaires. And, it's a little hard to try to figure out how to get to that place. But how to get to that place is starting like people like yourself. You're 26, you have your own business, you're grinding every day, and you have a vision long-term, So it helps my audience and people that are going to listen to the show kind of see like, oh man, I could do this too, and not get stuck along the way thinking that they have to do the whole 9 to 5 or be stuck in the corporate world, man. So very awesome story. That's awesome. Now, how long has your business been running for?
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say, and kind of in response to what you just mentioned. We've really only been in Opcom kind of within the last year. And I remember, before being really frustrated, not being able to find my way, not being able to figure out my niche and how I was going to really become successful. Yeah. And it took several years of really kind of digging and figuring myself out. And once we figured out this business, Cribs, once we really went all in and decided that this is what we're going to do, then it really took off. And so, well, like I said, we've only actually been in business for about a year, but we've been growing like crazy.
Bro, it doesn't matter. You're doing it. You've been doing it for a year. Most people don't even do it for a month or a week. Clearly you're doing well. You already have 40 units under management. You're looking for ways to grow, and I'm sure you have a plan. So let's get into that. What are the next 5 to 10 years looking like? What's your plans for the next 5 to 10 years for your business?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Really, the beautiful thing about our business is it's so vertically integrated, the way that we designed it and the way that we set it up. And so we want to become even more vertically integrated. We want to be able to own most of the steps of our business. So eventually we want Cribs to be a brokerage. We want Cribs to have a project management sector where we can manage a lot of these rehabs that we're doing. Like I said, we're doing 14 rehabs. It's me and my assistant that's really running everything, me and the contractor doing everything.
Wow.
And the same thing with like, eventually we see ourselves owning a cleaning company or having an integrated cleaning company within our company. So for us, it's like, how can we build the business on top of each other? How can we stack it so we can really make money on every single step while also providing a ton of value for our clients?
For sure, man. For sure. And on top of that, you have you specialize in a niche within the industry where not many people do. And it could give you that possibility, or you will be, man. I can already see it, to be the top-notch guy for room rentals, right? And specialize on that, help people come in. If they don't want to do that because they have more money or whatever, then you can still help them with a multifamily or a rehab or
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's
a
journey.
Let me ask you this, man. Now, you say you have 14 rehabs going, you have 40 units on their property. Do you have private money lined up that helps you finance these deals? You have partners, or you're just straight up doing it yourself?
Yeah. So, it's really clients that we're working with. So I'm helping clients purchase the homes.
Okay.
And then we also we'll pair investors with each other, right? So I've had investors come to me and say, hey, I have 50K. I want to do this. We'll find them another partner that we think is a good fit. We link them up and they become clients. And so we can kind of tailor that experience to help people find other people, just because we do have a really good database of investors. Yeah. So we've done that on several occasions, helping people kind of find partners and do deals. Eventually, and I mean, it's kind of already happening. We'll have the opportunity to take equity in the deals. We're working through purchasing a 14 unit right now in southern or south of Austin. We're working on purchasing a 14 unit that we're going to convert into a short-term rental.
Yeah.
And that will be a deal that we have equity in, that we're raising money for. So that we're going to have a lot more of that going on. Right now, we're so focused on like becoming super strong in all of our operations and building our team. That really, it's just like, how can we create more deals to build our team, to figure our operations and become even tighter?
Very cool, man. Very cool stuff. I mean, it seems like you got it all together, and what you don't have together, you have a vision for it and a plan for it, which is the most important part. Let me ask you this, man. I'm 27, right? But let's say I'm 22, I'm graduating college, or, just like starting off my life, like most of us are. And they see this interview, they see you're 26, you have a business, you're going. What would you say would be your first step, or something, the first thing you would do to get into your industry and to potentially own a business like yours? What were your first couple of steps?
The first step is choose something and go into it. Don't try out a million things. I did that for so long, and you hear people say that all the time. Like, hey, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to do them all at the same time. Yeah. And it's the biggest waste of time to try to put 30% into three things. That's not how the math works out, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, rather than putting 100% into one thing that you can really, really grow and scale. Yeah. Once we stopped doing that and we decided, hey, we're going to go all in on this real estate thing. And then we got even more niche. We're going to go all in on short-term rentals and rent by rooms. People call me all the time. Hey, I have this regular long-term rental. We manage it. No, we don't do that. I have other companies I can refer that out to. We're so specific and we've chosen our path and we're going down it super hard. So that's step one, choose your path. I would say step two is build your network. Like the only way that we've been able to grow as fast as we have is the years of coffee meetings, meetups, Zoom meetings, stuff like that. Masterminds, whatever. Start meeting people, go to events. The only way you can grow what you can do, it's not about how much money you have, it's about who you know. I've been able to be put into positions and be put into seats that I really quite honestly didn't feel like I was ready for, but because of my network, I've been able to obtain, a certain level.
Very nice. It's true though. It's true. It's not what you know, it's who you know. That's a fact. And on top of that, meeting somebody, you're 26, I'm 27, you meet a 40-year-old that has a business that's in your area you're in, you network with him. And by networking, I mean, provide him value, right? Don't just go and ask him to help you because he's not going to help you. You got to provide some sort of value. But once you do provide that sort of value, man, it will open so many roads. And on top of that, save you time because you're going to avoid the mistakes he made. And then you scale faster.
And bro, when you're young, what you have over someone who maybe is not as young as you, or whenever you're just starting out, even if you're not young, you have energy and you have time. When you're talking to these guys who are doing several deals or they're highly successful in business, they're worn out. They've been doing this for a long time and they're busy.
Yeah.
You can offer them a high level of energy. You can offer them your time. And that's also a competitive advantage that you have over some of these busier guys as well. When you're starting, you'll take business. Our very first client, I didn't tell you this part of our story, but our very first client was a guy that called the company I was working for. I was working for a local single family property management at the time, or a single family property management company at the time. Okay. And he called us. He said, I have 3 houses that I'm renting out by the room. Would you guys manage those? And I was like, sure, we'll do that. And he, and so anyways, I go and talk to the owner of the company. I'm like, hey, I got these 3 houses. This guy wants us to manage it. It's by the room. And she's like, hell no, we are not doing that. That's a pain in the ass. I don't know how to do that. It's not worth the money, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So I have to call him back. I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. We're actually going to be able to manage these properties for you. Back like 6 weeks later directly. He's like, hey man, I don't know what I'm doing. I really need your help. I don't have time to manage this crap. Will you just do this like on the side for me? Like, will you just help me out? Yeah. And I'm like, sure, I'll do that. An extra, I think I charged him like $500 for all 3 houses.
Nice.
To manage it. Some extra side money. And then he ended up essentially referring me to a friend that was doing another rent by room. And that friend was also doing a short-term rental. So he had a short-term rental coming up. His friend is like, hey man, I have this Airbnb. I'm trying to get going. Do you guys manage those too? And I'm like, yeah, we do that. I had never managed an Airbnb before, never managed any kind of short-term rental before. Yeah. And he's asking, how much do you charge? And I literally have him on speaker Googling, how much do short-term rental management companies charge? And I just told him like whatever the lowest amount was because I wanted the business, right? Yeah. Work to earn. I heard someone say that once and I was like, that's so freaking true. Like it's not about how much money you can make. It's really about how much you can learn when you're first starting off.
I agree.
And putting yourself in positions. Like the only reason I'm at where I'm at today, 18 months later, is because I said yes to these random opportunities. I was like, mind open, I'll go for it. Why not? And I chose my path and I went all in.
Dude, awesome, man. Awesome. Couple notes. I mean, think about it. It's like Tony Robbins says this all the time, right? To master something, got to model somebody that already does it, right? Somebody that's good at it. you totally immerse yourself to it, and you have spaced repetition, right? In this case, there's no spaced repetition because in our industry, in real estate, you got to be on it 24/7 and be up to date, or else you're going to get beat. And that's how it goes, man. There's too many sharks out there. But it's great to hear this story, man. And especially you being 26. I love it. I love it. This is what we need for people that are just graduating college and they're confused and, man, I want to get into business, but I don't know how, because exactly what I said earlier, they see you. This guy's doing it, right? And maybe they reach out to you. And yes, you're busy. We're busy, right? But you're more lenient and you have that extra time, at least a little more time than a person like Ed Milet, right? To maybe give a handout and like give them a tip. Like what I do, for example, a lot of, I guess, young men message me, and I don't mind hopping on a 15-minute call with them and just running them through what I did, my habits, which I think that's something very important that most people don't emphasize on. So let's touch on that, man. I mean, you've built this success already. You're 26. You clearly have your head straight. You definitely do masterminds. You have to read. What are your habits to educate yourself?
Good question, man. Yeah, I mean, I would say a big part of what I do is I work out pretty much daily. I know that's kind of cliche arts, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. Nice. That's a really big habit that really keeps me grounded and keeps me humble. I don't know if you've ever done jiu-jitsu, but that's a really beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu is that there's always a guy that's better than you, and it really puts it into perspective. You can't really ever you start accumulating success, you start accumulating assets and money and whatever, and you think you're the shit when in reality you're not. And jiu-jitsu kind of reminds you of that. There's always someone a next step ahead of you.
It's funny, bro. Little side note: I just joined the UFC gym here by my apartment. And I mean, I wanted to do it because I want to learn how to box. I work out too much. So like I wanted more mobility because my muscles are getting tight. Now I'm going to do jujitsu too, because they offer classes every day of jujitsu just to see what's about.
Jiu-jitsu is life-changing, man. It really is. I'm a purple belt. I've been doing it for like 8 years now. And I learn new stuff every day, but literally I would not be the person I am without jiu-jitsu. So that's been a huge asset for me in my life. I do read. I'm on the road a lot, so I do a lot of audiobooks. Nice. Some books that have been life-changing for me is obviously David Goggins' book. Was it
pretty much Hurt Me?
Yeah. That completely changed my life. It actually motivated me to. I ran two ultra marathons since reading his book. And
nice.
It just changes your mindset of what you think is achievable. Like he talks a lot about, we're only using, I think it's like 10% or something of what we're actually capable of. Yeah. And that's not just true physically, but it's true mentally and in business and emotionally and with our family and with our friends. We're really only utilizing probably 10 to 20% of what we're actually capable of.
Yeah.
That book, another book is, Everybody Always by Bob Goff. So Bob Goff is like what
was it? Everybody Always, you said?
Yeah. Everybody Always, I believe is what it's called. It's by Bob Goff, Goff. Cool. It's really about learning how to love difficult people in your life. Yeah. Which has not only been really useful for me in my life, but really useful for me in business, because you realize that of him volunteering across the world, and it just really puts it into perspective, just about how everyone's going through their own thing. Everyone deserves love. Everyone deserves care. And that was a really, really cool book for me to read when I kind of need, like when I read it, it was the perfect timing for me. And then I would say lastly, like if I had to give you a top 3 books, I would say
I love it.
Is, oh God, I can't remember the exact number, but it's by Bronnie Ware, I think is her name. Okay. And it I want to say it's the 5 regrets or the 7 regrets of the dying or something like that. But basically the lady who spent like 10, 15 years or something and working in hospice care. And she literally took record of the top regrets that people had when they were dying. Because that's literally whole motivation in life is like, how can I really soak up the most of my life? That's the only reason why we try to make money, so we can go and have these experiences and do things in life. And so, it talks about like, I wish I would have lived a life that was true to me, not to other people. And, I wish I would have spent more time with my family, or, I can't remember all of the regrets, but absolutely life-changing book, like completely worth the time.
Definitely, man. Gonna look into those too. I'll grab that second one after we finish up here. Just to finish up, I know you're busy, man. I want to touch on your charity for homeless, man. What's that about? What's the plan for that? Very excited about that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man. So the charity is something that I started with my mom several years ago. It was really the first actual thing like I started. And it came kind of from the backstory I told you about. So when you go through something like that, you can't help but have extreme empathy for other people.
For sure.
And so, really where it started was from a Thanksgiving tradition between my mom and I, where we would make an entire Thanksgiving meal. And because we don't actually like Thanksgiving food, we would go and we would hand it out to the.
That's funny.
So we enjoyed making it, but we didn't really enjoy eating it as much. And so, anyways, that started kind of a small tradition for us at the time. We did that for a couple of years. Eventually, we invited friends, we invited other family, and we eventually got like a group of like 10 to 20 people that would consistently be with us every holiday to go and feed the homeless. A lot of people do stuff like that on Thanksgiving, which is great. But we really built a passion for it. We really, really enjoyed helping the homeless. And so we kind of thought, how can we do more? How can we be more impactful? So eventually we decided, hey, we should actually make a real thing of this. And so we started hosting 2 to 3 events a year where we would gather necessities for the homeless, deodorant, soap, clothing, non-perishable food, sunscreen, backpacks, like really, really good items that they actually need to sustain themselves. About 3 years ago, we formally organized ourselves as a 501c3 nonprofit. We formed a board, and really the whole past year that I've had my head down in my business has been a lot of it with the intention that one day I want to put a lot back into my nonprofit, because really what we want to do one day is be able to offer free mental health services for the homeless, free life skills training, like really to help people out of their situation, and not just help sustain them, but really help them actually get out of that situation if they want the help. So
yeah. Dude, that's beautiful, man. That inspires me, because what I told you before the call started, that's something that I see very long term. But then seeing you're 26 and you already got this going, I'm here like, why haven't I done anything about it, right? And this is just spitting things out. Like I've had random thoughts. I just don't know the logistics. I haven't gotten too deep into it, right? But like I've had like an idea in my head where it's like you build in a sense a school for homeless people, right? You put them in there, you feed them, you give them a home. It's let's say a 6-month program to exactly what you're saying. Teach them how to talk, teach them financial skills, teach them basic skills that they could go out and actually provide a service, provide value, make money, and like rebuild their lives up. And I mean, there's plenty of ways to fund that. The government's printing money left and right. So why can't we just do that, right? Or like gain money from private investors. I don't know, man. I've had plenty of ideas behind it, but I like that you're in the same headspace.
Yeah. Like with something like that, man, like if you have a calling and you have a motivation to do it, I would just start small, host a small event, for the homeless or whatever community you feel called to help.
Yeah.
And just see how it goes. Like that's how it started with us. Like very, very small. We didn't go in trying to take over the world and trying to help every single person. It was just like, hey, let's go feed some homeless people because we don't want this food. Something very simple, something very small. Yeah,
I did. So the Thanksgiving ritual, I do it too. I do it with my girlfriend. I did it because I heard it. I'm a big Tony Robbins guy. I actually just finished one of his events, and he talked about how like his life completely changed. He was home. He was really like not doing well, and somebody came and gave him food, and it became a tradition. This guy's feeding over 1 billion people every year. Now that's life changing, man. Like that guy is feeding, and he's still trying to double that. and he puts his own money in there. You know, that's motivational, man. That's what it's all about now. Like, like money's fun and all, making money, being successful. But at the end of the day, helping is what it's all about. And there's nothing better than seeing that smile on their face when you actually help them.
Yeah, I just listened to Ed Milet's newest podcast with Dean Graziosi.
Nice.
He was, what did he say? He said, people who say money doesn't buy happiness haven't given enough away. And I was like, man, that's really it, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, I like that we're in the same page, man. We're young. I think we have a far way to go and we haven't reached our potential, but in a way, we're a good example for people coming up, man. And I think we need more excellence in this world, more self-accountability, and more people like yourself, man. Like, it's not like you're completely set, made multi-billionaire, and you're still doing little things to help, man. So that's an example, man. I applaud you. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. My audience is gonna love it. This is an awesome story. Where can they find you on social media?
Best way is Instagram. You can also add me on Facebook. You can look me up, Blake Anthony Carter. Nice. My Instagram at blake.anthony.carter. And my company's name is Cribs. You can find us at Cribs, or on Instagram at Cribs Consulting. Same thing for Facebook. And then our website is cribsconsulting.com. So you can learn more.
Yeah. And guys, I'll put this in the notes below on the show. Just wanted him to say that. Blake, again, thank you so much, guys. Share this show. Everybody needs to know his story. This is awesome, man. Thank you again, man. And we'll be talking more soon.
Thank you, brother. Have a great day.
Man. Yeah. Bye. Ever wonder what sets the winners apart from the losers? And what does it really mean to be a winner? My name is Federico, and I'm a young, successful entrepreneur passionate about sports, business, mindset, and real estate. If you are just like me and you want to crack the code to victory, then Winning Ways podcast is made for you.